question, our first question is this. Now, you have to find the exact value of this. Now, I have to insist you don't use your calculator. So, guys, right, if you get it out too fast, I know you use a calculator, right? So, the first thing you want to do is convert the mixed fractions into improper fractions. Because when it comes to fractions work, I believe I always tell you guys, mixed fractions are the worst. You need to always work with improper fractions. So good luck, guys. And you have a couple of minutes to send the answer across. Correct. So by now, everyone should know, well, 4 by 5 is 20 plus 1 is 21. So you have 21 on 5 here, minus 1 by 9 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So it's 10 on 9 multiplied by 3. Now, we obviously know 3 is the same thing as 3 on 1. So I would suggest you convert the 3 to 3 on 1. And immediately, you can see something will cancel out over here, right? So I hope everyone is on the right track so far. So we can see that 3 into 3 is 1, and 3 into 9 is 3. So on the outside, you're going to end up with 21 on 5 minus, and inside the brackets, well, 10 by 1 is 10, and 3 by 1 is 3. Right? You don't need the brackets anymore because it's simplified within the brackets. Now, what you can do is find the LCM. The LCM of 5 and 3 is obviously 15. This is primary school stuff. 5 into 15 is 3. 3 by 21 is 63. 3 into 15 is 5. 5 by 10 is 50. This is obviously going to work out to 13 on 15. Which is, well, I think everyone who sent an answer sent that across. So congratulations on that. Obviously, in the exam, you don't get the full marks unless you show all the working, all the steps. Right? Right, so take a 10 seconds, take down what you need to take down, and we will move on. Right, so here's another question. Well, at the end of the day, well, for part 1, you have to find the values of A, B, C, and D. Believe me, it's not complicated. Good luck. Consider this question, even though it's a past paper question. This is more like a SEA question, right? To find the value of A, it's obviously going to be 3 multiplied by 12.5 or $12.50, okay? And of course, I have to put the answer, I'll put the answer underneath. Make it easier. 3 by 12.5, that's now 3 multiplied by 12.5 is $37.50. Easy stuff. For B, this is going to be a division question because this is the total cost and you buy 2. So obviously it's going to be $33.90 divided by 2. $33.90 divided by 2. And it's going to be $16. That's a holder. Did I do something wrong? 33.90 divided by 2, $16.95, right? And the C is also going to be a division question, right? Easy stuff. $31, well, 31, you don't have to write any zeros, divided by 6.20. 31 divided by 6.2 is 5. All right, so that's pretty easy. I think most people got this one out of the way. Now for part 2, I'm still waiting on answers from most people, right? It's the stickers. Remember, for the 12 stickers, she paid $5.88. So she's a business person, right? And this is her marketing or selling scheme here. Did she make a profit or did she make a loss? Got her. I forgot to work out the VAT. The VAT is just 15%, right? So it's 15 over 100 multiplied by the total she paid, right? Right. So how much VAT? 0.15. All right. Now you're gonna have to round off here, right? You all agree with this? Yes, all right. 0.15 multiplied by 108 and 20. When you round it off, you're going to get 16.24. But get a round off money to what? 2 decimal places. I hope you all in agreement with that one. All right. Right. So now you can work on part 2. Good luck. I need to clear the screen. So the 12 stickers, right? She broke it up into 2 categories, 6 and 6. The first 6 she sold for 75 cents, and the next one 6 was 40 cents. So we're just going to find the total and obviously add them up. 6 by 0.75 is $4.50, and 6 by 0.4 is $2.40. Let's add those two. This is what I am getting here. $6.90. That's the whole time. I'm just making sure I did it correct. You all agree with that? I don't think she made a loss. I think she made a profit. What am I seeing wrong here? I think it's a profit because let me just make sure. This is how much she bought it for, and this is how much she collect. It seems that she got more, right, than what she paid for it. So when you minus those two, I get in a profit of $1.02. It's not a loss. She made more money. Remember, she's selling those tickets, right? All right, so look for him. Well, it's easy to spot your mistake here. All right, let's get ready to move on to the next question. Oh, that's the end of the first question. So for those who are following the storyline, right? So the robots in the future are really, really curious about human nature. And the first thing they ask, well, one of the humans, right, is what was humanity's favorite food? And of course, well, I'm going to present you with 3 options. Look at the 3 options, and you all going to vote. Now, if you are part of the more popular vote, you get 10 points. If you're second, 5 points. And if it's the least popular, you get 1. So it's 10, 5, and 1. Right? But you have to be honest on which one. When it's time to assign the points, obviously, right? So take a good look at all the options and you decide which one do you think, in your opinion, was humanity's favorite food, right? You can choose it based on what you're feeling for right now. All right. All right, so let's launch the polls. Let's launch the polls. Right, everyone try your best to vote, right? Today's the last class. Just get involved, right? You have to make sure and convert everyone to improper fractions. So 2 by 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9, 9 over 4, right? Multiply by 4 over 5. And the underneath, well, there's really nothing to simplify in the underneath. I could probably work out the underneath one time. Remember, the underneath is our normal minusing question. So the LCM is 10, right? 5 into 10 is 2. 2 by 3 is 6. 2 into 10 is what? 5. 5 by 1 is 5. So the underneath part, right? I'm gonna put it in I'll put it in blue. 6 minus 5 is 1 over 10. You can take it from there, guys. Come on. You can take it from there. The top real easy to simplify. Right? So I think you all can see that the 4 and the 4 are going to cancel out. So you get 9 on 5 divided by 1/10. So how do you work this out? You have a fraction divided by another fraction. Remember in primary school, we'd never write it like this. We'd write it like this, 9 on 5 divided by 1/10. That's a different way of writing the same exact thing. And what would happen? The divide would change to a multiply, and the 1 on 10 would flip, right? So it's 9 on 5 multiplied by 10 on 1. 5 into 5 is 1. 5 into 10 is 2. 9 multiplied by 2 is 18. Right? 18 is the first answer. Right. The next one now, you could use your calculator. So you can just use your calculator and work this out straight on your calculator. And then you need to round off your answer to 3 significant figures. Right? So I just give everybody 1 more minute to submit an answer for that one, right? Everyone should be able to handle such a simple question by now. So when I work this out, I'm getting 14.2979. Now, this is obviously not the 3 significant figures. Whenever your value is more than 1, and this is clearly more than 1, right? The significant figures, you start counting it from the very first value. So you want the 1, you want the 4, and you want the 2. You want these 3. Everybody else after that kind of irrelevant, except if after the line, the first value is 5 or more, you add 1. So the answer is 14.3. All right. Right. This one, I know it looks long, but let me just see what kind of a loan was borrowed. Calculate the interest of loan in the first year, the total amount owing. That's not what. I'm looking at this just to make sure. Did they say whether it's simple interest or compound interest? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It won't matter whether you assume it's simple interest or compound interest for this particular question. Which I assume that most of you all were. All right. Right. So the interest is just what? Principal by rate by time over 100. So the principal is what you have here. The rate is 14 and it's 1 year, right? The 1 year, right? You're just using that formula right through and it should be okay. The interest, now the interest is just the extra you have to pay out, the extra. And the interest seems to be what? 1680. So how much do you owe at the end of the year? You borrowed 12,000 and now you have to pay an extra on it, which is normal. That's how normally loans work. it's 12,000 plus the interest, okay? Right. You are owing the bank $13,680, and you say, all right, I have a $7,800. Let me pay that. So you owe the bank 13680, and now you pay off this, right? Right. This is how much you owe the bank now because you were able to pay off that. Now, for the next year, you're treating the second year separately from the first year. So when the second year starts, the bank is going to say, all right, this is the amount that you currently owing. You have $5,880. For this year, even though they say the second year, you're counting each year separate from each one. So the bank is saying, all right, for that $5,880, you have to pay us 14% interest on it, right? Which is what normally happens in banks. Now, you just had to use this here. Interest is principal by rate by time over 100. The principal is what you're currently paying interest on, right? And it's still 14%, and it's this year. 5880 multiplied by 14 divided by 100. That's not double checking my answer. 5880. I get in this over here. Anybody can agree with that? I just double checking my answer. It looks a little weird. 5880 multiplied by 14 by 1 divided by 100. But this is just the interest. What's the amount you have to pay? It would be this is what you owe currently, and now you have to pay the interest. So let's add it up. Anybody else can agree with this? I'm going to check through the answers on the chat here. 6703.2. Let's work out the first one. 12.3 close bracket squared minus 0.246 divided by 3 close brackets. It was just a matter of writing this and typing it exactly on your calculator, right? And from watching through the answers, most people got it correct, okay? Most people got it correct. Now I'm trying to figure out why some people got this wrong, right? Just checking it back here, right? Minus 0.246 divided by 3. Right. So to round it off to 3 significant figures, we only want 3. 2, sorry. Oh, some people got this wrong. Now check this out. 2 significant figures means the first 2 values, 1, 2. Now anything after this line, you really don't want it. But you have to be careful in a case like this. You see, when you round off something to significant figures, it is always be real close to the original value. So it's always to be 1, 1, 5. You don't add 1 to the 5, but this changes to a 0, right? Because if somebody owes you $151, 150 is close to 151, okay? I know some people had 15, but that would be wrong. A significant figure, there's always be super, super close to the original figure. And I always like to think about it in terms of money. All right. So I'm just going to do it the normal way, right? So we're going to find 12% of 40,000. 12% of 40,000. So 12 divided by 100 by 40, right? And we gain 4,800. So that means it went down by how much? 4,800. So the value of P would be 40,000 minus 4,800. So P is 3,500. A lot of people sent that. For Q, right? How much did it, in terms of money, how much did it go down by? It was 25,000 and then it went down to what? To this. Well, I mean, it went down to 21,250. So that means it went down by $3,750. But the Q is a percentage. Q is a percentage. So if you want to convert it to a percentage, you have to divide it by the original value, not the final value, and then you multiply it by 100. And I got 15%. So Q is 15%. A lot of people had that, right? For part C, right? You could use the cross. I would just simply go to the cross for this one. So for both of them, you could go to the cross, right? So I'm not doing it. So it's Guyanese and US, and the other one is US and EC, right? One is for part one and one is for part two. So I'll give you like a couple minutes for that. Right. So the calculator, oh, they just want $60,000 in US. Well, they can't ask for anything easier than that, right? Because according to the exchange rate, one Guyanese dollar is equal to 0.01 US. They gave us that, right? And now they gave us 60,000 Guyanese dollars. We want to convert it to US. So we cross multiply. 1 by X is X. And when you have your calculators, 60,000 by 0.01 is 600. Well, to get full marks in the exam, right? If it's US dollars, you have to write it like this. US, put the dollar sign just like this, and put the 600. Otherwise, you don't get full marks for it in the exam. Right. And the other one, they gave you the exchange rate again, right? So it's not like they're trying to pull any tricks on you. This is the US. The US portion is 0.37, and that is equal to 1 EC, right? So 1 EC is equal to this. They gave you that. And then they tell you, hey, you have 925 US dollars converted to EC. 0.37x, and anything by 1 is itself. 0.37 is a multiply, throw it across, you get a divide. 925 divided by 0.37. I want to get full marks, it's EC dollars, so it's EC. I have to put the dollar sign here and put 2,500. Lots of correct answers, right? So that's good news, good news. Oh. Just checking through a few more answers here. Right. Take a couple seconds, take down what you need. All right, so the robots have another question for us, right? So humans of your time love these things called sweet treats. But which one was their favorite? Right? That's how kind of robot I think people. Look at the choices. Was it? Well, I'm already asking for your favorite, right? Well, you choose whatever you like. Okay. Chocolate ice cream, Black Forest cake, One people. Apparently, there's a clear winner here. Of course, would have been a lot of ties. Oh, no, no, no. We have a tie. We have a tie now. Come on, guys. I have 9 more people to vote. Vote, vote. All right. And the poll. All right. So I didn't expect this one to win, but chocolate ice cream won, right? So for the people who genuinely chose chocolate ice cream, 10 points. There's a tie for Black Forest and cheesecake. So cake people, 5 points. Give me a total, guys. Give me a total. All right. Few people have 50 points. Not everyone will have 50 points, obviously, right? Remember, right? Anyway, I think some of you all missed the beginning of class to know how to allocate the points. All right. Let's go. Using a calculator. Those are the best words you could hear in an exam, right? The examiner is testing if you can use a calculator properly in the exam. You might find as a real easy question, but it does come that easy sometimes in the CSEC exam. Value. I can choose some answers here, making sure we have those. All right. Great. For the next one, you had to be careful, right? This is how you had to type it in on the calculator. 1.68 divided. Now, if you want to take the top and divide it by the whole underneath, your calculator will not understand unless you put the whole underneath in brackets. Otherwise, the calculator will mess it up. Like you'll get a completely different answer. 1.68 divided by 1.5 squared minus 1.45. Close brackets. And a lot of people had this one. Surprisingly, more people had the more difficult one correct. I would have expected more people to get part 2 wrong, but more people, for some reason, I don't know why, got part 1 wrong. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. Right, ratios, right? Where is that? So Aaron, right? Remember, it's 2 people, Aaron and Betty. Aaron's share is the 2. Now, how much shares does it have in all? Well, 2 plus 5 is 7. So 7 is the total amount of shares. So how they would normally tell you to do it in primary school, if 2 shares is equal to $60, then 1 share is 60 divided by 2, right? I believe that's how they will show you in primary school, okay? 1 share is $50. Now it have 7 shares in all. Remember to ask you for how much money it had all together. So if it's 7 shares in all, and each share is worth $50, you will get $210 all together. Right? Don't get me wrong, you could have used the little cross like this. Remember, it's 2 people, Aaron, A for Aaron, and B for Betty. Aaron is 2 and Betty is 5, right? They gave you that. Aaron's share is 60. So you can calculate Betty's share like this. 2 by x is 2x, and 50 by 60 is 300. So if you divide it, you'll get 150. So that means Betty's share is 150. So how much money it have in all? Aaron's share, which is 60, plus Betty's share, which is 150. When you add that up, and you're going to get $210 anyway. So anyone would have given you the correct answer, any method, right? Let's move on to part C, right? They always be happy when you see ratios questions in the exam, right? Right? Not everyone got this one correct, but yeah, hopefully the next question will have more luck. Part C. Good luck. Ways to do this, right? But some of you might not have noticed, but you could use the cross to do part 1. For part 1, right? It have liters, like the I put liters here, and the cost. They said at the beginning of the question, 3 liters cost $10.40 Eastern Caribbean. So if you want to buy 5 liters now, how much will it cost? You just need to cross multiply. 3 by x is 3x, and then $10.40 by 5 is $52. Making sure that's correct, right? Throw across and multiply, you'll get a divide. The cost of 5 liters is $17.33. Right? Just double checking the answers here. Yep, lots of people had $17.33. So how many liters of gasoline can be bought for $50 EC, right? Oh, we need to find out the cost of 1 liter. Well, that should be easy. Actually, no, we can use the cross for this. We can use liters and cost. If we know 3 liters cost $10.40, and then you walk in with $50, how much liters will you get, right? So here's the cross again. 10.40 by x is 10.40x, and 3 by 150 is 150. Throw across and multiply, you get a divide. So 150 divided by 1040, you're getting 14.42. Now they said to the nearest whole number. So this is 14 liters you can walk out with, right? Right. It's not 15, eh? If it was more than, if it was 14.5 or more, well then fine, you're welcome to get the 15. Right? So look for a mistake. This is how useful the cross could be. The cross is a useful tool. I just use it up to now when I go places. When I go to the bank or when I go to the airport, I just literally have a pencil and a paper. I just walk around a pen and paper, right? And it has been so useful in real life. Okay? All right. All right. So how much of you all are into phone games? I used to be able, but the games have gotten too complex for me. I like my old time games like Pac-Man and things. So the robots are very, very intrigued by humans and this thing they call video games. So which one of these games would you consider the greatest game of all time? If your greatest game is not there, choose the best out of it. Is it Among Us, Fruit Ninja, or Angry Birds? Let's vote. All right, votes are in, right? And the pool. Ah, this one is disappointing. So apparently, Among Us is the most popular. So for the people who chose that, 10 points. Fruit Ninja, which I think is a pretty cool game, 5 points. Angry Birds People, 1 point. Give me a final total there, guys. A final total. How much points you have? The most amount of points you can have is 40. Right? All right. Okay. 40 points. Well done, well done. 50 points for Kaylee. All right, guys. So just 1 second. Right. So I just wanted to have a little, well, today is the last maths class, right? Because next week is July, right? So I think you all are aware of the free summer program, right? So you all, for the people who stayed in class today, you all are automatically part of the free summer program, right? I will send your parents the links and everything. You know how it goes, right? I will send them and then we'll send you it. However, I could use your assistance, right? This is my phone number. If any of y'all are willing to help me share the flyer for the free summer program, because you will be surprised how it's free. A lot of people actually don't believe it's free. They think it's some kind of trick or whatnot, right? But those you will hear before, you know it's a free summer program. Every summer we have it. If you all are willing to help me share it, just WhatsApp me and just say, willing, but make sure and use this phrase, right? Willing to help. So I know it's somebody from this class, right? Willing to help, right? So if you're willing to help me, WhatsApp me. I will send you the flyer. And if you could send it to the groups, you all have more contacts than me, right? Any groups, whatever, social media. And you can just reassure people, hey, it's a real program, right? I would really appreciate your help for it, right? So that's all I really wanted to ask you all. And of course, have a good week. And I'll see some of you all tomorrow for chemistry at 6:45 p.m., the makeup class. All right, guys. So take care. Have a good one. Right.